All right, everyone, welcome to the show. Today we are taking a look at ChatGPT 5, which last week I was looking at it and it was kind of interesting because it didn't seem to live up to all the hype that Sam Altman and all the other people were talking about. However, on a deeper examination, I'm seeing that there's a lot more that ChatGPT 5 can do for us in our businesses and as a powerful AI tool. ChatGPT version 5 has some new updates. We're going to go over those, and then I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I'm using in my business to build and grow and make money. Now, I want you to realize that the average results you're going to see are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. What I make, what other people make, is not an indicator of what you're going to make. The vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. Even with businesses, this is something where there's risk and there's reward. You have to look at it objectively and practically. Building a business takes work. I think that AI helps us with a lot of that work, so understanding what's going on here and what the tools can actually do is kind of a big deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the advancements and the things that they added in ChatGPT number 5, or version 5 rather, and we're going to take a look at what those mean for us. Now, I did notice there was quite a few crazy things that were really awesome, like the visual capabilities of ChatGPT 5 is insane. Going through here and looking at what we can make with visual and all of this stuff is crazy, right? Looking at this, I had a Rubik's Cube generator thing here we were working on, and it's actually very amazing. Now, when we look at this, we have to look at it and understand where we're going to get to actually building a business around this stuff. It's fun. It's cool. It's easy to make these. However, building a business is another entire type of thing on its own. So we're going to look at that. We're going to understand it. Some other things I was looking at making was like this national debt calculator, which was kind of cool. It looked like it was pretty accurate, but not based on data right now. It was based on data now from when you open the page and going on from the time I created the tool. So it wasn't actually live, but I think it did a good job of visualizing it, which was really cool. Some other things we were looking at, which you guys saw in the thumbnail, was the mirror ball generator, which literally takes any image and allows you to kind of scan around and look at everything like this, which is actually pretty cool. The visuals on ChatGPT 5 are insane. This is something we have not seen this power in a smart AI tool. Sure, there are tools that generate videos and things like that, but nothing that puts them together and actually makes them so that you can have them on your website. As you can see here, this is actually hosted on my website. That is where the thing is. It's really cool. So looking at that and understanding exactly what's going on is key. And understanding, like, wait a minute, this thinks on a different level. Now, we're going to take a look at some other tools, and I'm going to talk to you about how I'm using them in my business, how you can build stuff and look at what people are interested in, and kind of be first to market with some of these, because there's going to be a lot of startups that happen with AI, as you've probably seen a lot of them have already, and there's going to be a lot of things that we can learn. Now, in ChatGPT 5, we have seen better reasoning and reduced hallucination, which means it does think on a different level, where before it would think very surface level. Now it's going deeper and understanding data in a very, very different way. Now, they are saying that the hallucination rate is under 1%. I'm not buying it. I think it's probably higher than that, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Unified model, it automatically selects the best model. Now, one of the things I talked about last week in ChatGPT 5 was that they locked you in using GPT-5. However, there is a setting in your settings where you can choose to show legacy models and get the older versions back. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad that they added that, because I wanted to be able to use the faster, older versions. Now, they are saying that ChatGPT 5 does have enhanced speed. I think the old version was faster at coding from my personal experience, but depending on what you're trying to code and how deep it's thinking, you're going to get a much better output with version 5. So if I was going to create a calculator or something like that, going through version 5 is going to get me a much more in-depth one, which I'll show you in just a little bit. I believe we created one for water calculator. Here's one I tested with like foreclosure stuff. And going through and looking at this, it's visualizing data in a way that we hadn't seen before. And apparently it just keeps shrinking that one. But going through and looking at this was very important because now we can visualize this stuff in a very, very different way. Now, is that chart usable? No, but I do like how it actually made this data. Let's do states or something like that, see if it changes the way that the thing looks here. Looks like it might have froze there. Hopefully we don't lose it. There we go. Is it losing it? Let's see. Let's see if we can get this going here. Bear with me 1 second, and we will get this working. There we go. Okay, cool. So going here, we can see what's going on with all of these, the housing market, little tools like this where you can actually, paint walls and things like that. Really cool. So starting to understand this, we're seeing that it is actually thinking at a different level, creating tools at a different level. And there was one that I had, which was a calculator for like how much water should you drink. And it visualized it in a really good way. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's based on something, 15,000 people a month search for just that one keyword. We could tie it into other stuff and make it kind of fun. And it actually had like little boxes where you could say, oh, I drink 1 or 2 or 3 glasses of water. I have 5 left or whatever it is. So starting to realize, yes, this is thinking at a different level and understanding things at a different level. Improve memory and context retention. This means that across your chat and across other chats, so like account-wide and just that chat-wide, you are going to see, yes, it is starting to remember things more, where I could say, now that you know that, do this. Very important stuff. More human-like responses, natural reasoning, even on the no-cost plan, high performance, and everything like that. Now, as far as coding, it is having an advanced coding skills where it can create software as a service tools, full front-end apps, 2D games, and 3D web apps. This is where we're seeing the change, where it's like, okay, now I can create 3D type web stuff that people can use. Think, okay, could I make some kind of tool for realtors where you could visualize a walkthrough, where you could visualize numbers or data or whatever it is on a very specific way. Now, I'm going to get into some of the specific examples of where I'm going to use this in a business, and I'm going to give you some examples of what you can build as well. Coding and development, we have advanced coding, debugging. I have found that this is actually really good at debugging itself. Interactive visuals, this is the big change. This one is where I've seen there is no other AI tool that will do the visuals the way that ChatGPT 5 will. When we look at some of the visuals that we have with like this earning calculator, you could go and do entrepreneurs and stuff like that. It's actually able to visualize this in a very, very specific way. So thinking about all the data that you could give it and something that you could help people with. Maybe you can go through and have it visualize, what a franchise would make, what an ROI would look like on this, what that would look like. Very detailed stuff where we could go through and be like, okay, what does the currency look like? $100 unit per value, and it'll actually change it and everything like that, which is pretty cool, okay? Looking at this, we are in a different league where it's going to visualize things. Think about this, because this is something that Mark Zuckerberg has kind of like been betting on for many years, and now he's throwing a lot of money at. Years ago, he came up with the idea of the metaverse, which I have indifferent ideas on that, but going through this and looking at it, and understanding what's going on is key. Understanding, okay, he has this idea for this metaverse where everything's going to be visual. Well, what is ChatGPT 5 doing? Well, it's doing a lot of visual stuff. Is this going to tie in? What is it going to look like? And how can we use that in our learning, in our building, in the things that we want to do? Can you visualize data in a different way instead of like, oh, hey, what does this timeline look like for a foreclosure process or building a website or buying a house? Now I can actually walk you through it and have you visually experience it. And I think it's going to move from the web the way it is now to more experiential, where you're like seeing and feeling and visualizing things, and AI is going to help us get there. Now, that's for a long-term vision. Let's look at what we can do now. What we can do now is website widgets, which is creating widgets, maybe packaging them as WordPress plugins. Can we have something visual? Can we have something interactive where we go through, like this example here, where I did an interactive flashcard game for learning Spanish. All right, thinking about this as an affiliate marketer, can I make a fun game that would go viral and do really well that I can promote and then be an affiliate of some kind of language learning platform or something like that that pays a lot of money? Yes, I could. Starting to see these things and understand them in a different way is going to be the key to building a business in the AI future. Now, going through and looking at this also, we could see that this is one of the strongest coding models. That's from ChatGPT themselves. Like, obviously, they're going to say they're the best. I think that's debatable, but not much. It is powerful. As far as agent mode, we didn't see a whole lot there. Presentation generation. This is one where ChatGPT 5 kind of excels. We're able to go out there and make full presentations with graphics, charts, tables, and in specified styles, where I could go through and say, okay, maybe I can make this interactive affiliate marketing glossary where they click on things and they see how it works. Or I could say, now make this so they click on the item and it gives a explanation tree, very visual. And what'll happen is it'll go through and it'll make that, and now I can visualize the data in a completely different way. And how many of you guys are seeing this? If you are, smash a like button, because this is something where it's different from what we've seen before, where I can make a calculator, fun, good, cool, but now I can make something that visually shows the data we want to represent. Very important, okay? Starting to look at this and say, what would this look like if I was going to go after the Rubik's Cube one, right? You got 51,000 people looking up how to solve a Rubik's Cube. You can have videos, you can have tutorials and whatever, or you can make something like this where they can see visually what it's going to look like, the moves, how they would solve it, and even like running a test where it'll go through and it'll solve it itself. How many of you guys are seeing, oh, wow, you're telling me this is something I could put on my website like literally the same day that I build it? Yes, it gives you the code. If you tell it, hey, I want this for HTML or PHP or whatever web server you have, now you can build this and you're ready to go. And I could go through and I could sell, you know, Rubik's Cubes or something like that, or how to solve, or a guide or a course based on that. And starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, these are things that are going to keep people on the site longer. That is the name of the game with internet marketing, affiliate marketing, and building a business, is keeping people on your content longer. This is key. The longer people stay, the more apt they are to buy things and everything like that. Now, I also went through and I was toying around with like economics terms quizzes. I was like, okay, what if instead of just standing here and teaching people a bunch of terms where it's like, oh, hey, affiliate marketing is performance-based, instead of that, what if I was able to have like a quiz that helps them understand in a more fun way where you're actually seeing that visualization? How does affiliate marketing work? Well, boom, here comes a chart. You say, this goes to this, and it tells you if you're correct or not. Something where it's more interactive, more visual, and gives a completely different experience than just a run-of-the-mill calculator or something like that. Or even thinking about, like, what if I could do something where the data would show, like you're buying a house, here's how much, like it fills up the picture of the house and says, oh, here's how much interest you pay versus that, and it shows the table. Something like that where you can visually show people, because a lot of people are not math people. Like, I think a lot of people they don't get math. Some do. Some get words and things like that. But for the people that need help with math, you could go through and visualize, here's what it would look like. Here's what would happen if you paid an extra $500 a month. Here's what would happen if you did this, that, or the other. And really visualizing that calculator. Or thinking about this in terms of like a landscape, right? A landscaper, you could go to landscaping companies and say, hey, I have an app where you go snap pictures of the yard. You say, oh, we want rocks here, or we want a deck here, or we want that, and it'll actually visualize it in a very specific way on that person's yard in real time. Okay, or what would your yard look like with a pool in it? Or something like that, where it can tie into all different things. We were looking at this in terms of interior design, where this one, it took a little bit of messing around with. We had one that did paint and one that did a walkthrough. This was designed to do a walkthrough. You give it a bunch of different pictures, it'll do the whole walkthrough. And the cool thing about it is it can pull from whatever you want. So, you could get the pictures from the listing or whatever, the realtor, however it works, and you can build things based on it. Obviously, make sure you have the rights to use whatever you're using. This is an AI-generated image. But going through and seeing this, we're seeing the potential of what happens. We're seeing the potential of, oh, now we can have something that's completely different. Yes, there's a lot of mortgage calculators out there. Can we have one that shows them visually what's going on, that gives them an example, that uses AI to help them out? And starting to understand that is key. This is one I did where we were looking at like a landing page. I was thinking, okay, a lot of people want to learn how to build landing pages and things like that. What if instead of just saying, oh, a landing page should have a headline, a landing page should have this, that, or the other, what if instead it made the landing page and you can click on the things to see exactly what parts go where? Right? This is something where it's more interactive, and it has that list on top. It's got the information. Okay, what is it? Use a sharp call to action image, or whatever it is. And you're starting to see, oh, this is changing the game by making things that people will actually interact with and spend more time with. Very, very important. We even did one, someone was asking about using like keyword tools and stuff like that. Yes, we did one that actually visualized keywords where they would go here, upload their keyword list. It's going to segregate all the different keywords that are like, oh, hey, here's the ones for houses, here's the ones for money, here's the ones for loans. And it'll visualize in a very, very, very specific way, which is really cool. So going through there, that was something that changed big time. Data analysis, I think that's going to change big time because now we're going to be able to visualize that data instead of just reading it and having an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. Invoice and competitor tracking, this is one where you could set it up to make some kind of interactive invoice or something so people understand. What does this charge mean? What does that charge mean? Here's some things I can shop for, or whatever it is. Deep research, I didn't see a whole lot of changes with ChatGPT 5 on that one. Personal office automation, thinking about what this can do. I had an employee that worked here several years ago, and she went on and built this entire business around being a virtual assistant for lots of companies. And with AI, there's a lot of things that you can do where one person can do the work of like 20 if you're using this. ChatGPT can help with that because there's a lot of little tasks that it can do. Real-time audits, SEO, responsiveness, visualizing keyword data, again, that's going to be a big one as well. Now, as far as creative and use cases, intelligent co-writing, we saw with ChatGPT 5, it understands tone, emotion, and it can switch back and forth from characters in a way that we didn't see before. Workflow simulation. Again, this is very big. Can you visualize a workflow? And if the AI can visualize it, then it can also break it down and make it work in its own AI. Maybe instead of going through and saying, what does the process look like of generating a lead online and then selling them, what would it look like visually from, oh, they come from this search engine term, they fill this out, they go over here, and now we can see it. If that makes sense, let me know. Very important stuff. Virtual board type thing. One-step lead magnets. This is where you could create lead magnets. I'm going to show you this in just a minute as well. Learning accessibility, study and learn mode, acts as a personal tutor with guided learning. That's a good feature they have. Also, memory. They have the ability to add things to memory. So in ChatGPT 5, you can add something to the memory rather than just having it remember everything or nothing. Projects feature, that's something we saw before. Expanded context window, meaning you can put more data in, which helps you get more data out. Image generation, this is something that I am seeing big time. This has changed where the text on the images is getting a lot better as they go along. We also see, I think they said there was a lot of implications with health and things like that when it comes to where they're headed with their AI. But for us business people, I'm going to go through and look at what's going on and how we can use it, okay? So looking at all these changes, looking at all this stuff, it's like, okay, we got visual stuff that looks pretty cool like this. We have visual games. This is one where I did an anxiety relief game, and they can play all kinds of things and match colors, which basically takes their mind off of the anxiety they're dealing with, which is a helpful tool. Again, what we're looking for is something we can build with the purpose of getting them into something else, right? Maybe I can get them into an anxiety meditation book or course or something like that. Or maybe with something like this, maybe it'd be a walkthrough or a game they can play for memory. Different things like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a lot of the things that people search for and think about, okay, what can I build with this? Where would the creativity go? Obviously, we want to go through and we want to find a market, find a niche that's going to work really well, and then build something up. Maybe going through and looking at, okay, could I build a budget planner? What would that look like if I could visualize a budget planner? Going through, if we were to go to ChatGPT 5 like this and start a new chat, I could say, let's make a visual budget planner where people can see visually with icons and charts, fun, where their money is going. Think rent, housing, credit, cards, food, entertainment, ECT. And what'll happen is it'll go through and it'll build this. Now, when you're building these, you want to use Canvas. So use Canvas here. That way it knows to make it in code. And then say whatever you're on. If you're on a server that supports React, use React. If you're on one that does HTML or something like that, then just type HTML in here. And what will happen is it'll go through and it'll actually build that tool for you. I'll leave this open over here, and we'll take a look at that tool as it gets built and take a look at the other ideas as well. Cool thing about this is the sky is the limit. You can build whatever you want. All you have to do is figure out, okay, what am I going to do to monetize it in a very cool way? Retirement visualizer. Okay, what would this look like? Maybe you could go through. And what you'll notice is a lot of tools are very base level. They don't think in a different way. Like, okay, how much do you need for retirement? Well, $1 million or whatever. Okay, well, in 30 years, $1 million is not going to be worth much, so you're probably going to need more. Can I make this tool to build that? Can I make it visualize it so that people can understand, oh, $1 million today needs to be 10 million in 30 years or whatever. Starting to see, yes, we can visualize. And then going through and looking at, okay, if it's a budget planner, maybe I can get them into new loans or different options or courses or things like that. If I'm doing retirement, maybe I can get into affiliate offers in finance, loan payoff trackers. Maybe we can go through and do this. And this is something where you can even use the programming code that the tool knows how to do, like saving data or whatever, and say, oh, every time they open, it'll pick up where they left off. Something like that. Very, very cool. You could do coupon countdown timers, like, oh, hey, here's a coupon that you need to use, or enter all your coupons in the expiration date, and it'll track them. pricing tier comparison charts. This would be good for software as a service, upsells, things like that. Goal trackers, where you can make visualized goal trackers. Maybe have a guy running and it's like, oh, hey, he's almost at the finish line if you did all your workouts this week, or whatever it is. Something fun, something easy. You guys saw that I did this with our Talk Sober website, where I went through and made a sobriety checker where they could, see, oh, you've been sober 100 days or whatever it is. Going through looking at language flashcards, we showed you that with this one here, where they go through and it'll show the different things and give you the little flashcard, and then it has all these options up here too. So again, this is a very big niche. It's a big market. Languages are a gigantic market. There are companies making crazy amounts. Now, does that mean you will? Probably not. Most people make nothing. But if we understand, hey, I can build a business in this, and the key is stay small, right? Most people look at what venture capital and what big businesses do, and they're trying to follow a startup, rather than what would I do if I had to bootstrap this? Well, if I had to bootstrap this, I'm going to make something that I can make content about easily. Okay, let's make this language Spanish learner, and let's visualize what would this look like, and how can I get them into something else? Now, if I was to go over and type in, let's do language learning affiliate programs, you're going to see that a lot of these pay really well. Some of them pay, $100 a sale, 40%, a lot of stuff there. And so we're looking at that, and we're like, okay, I'm going to build these tools visualized with the express purpose of promoting this language program. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Smash the like button if that makes sense. And this is something where now it's visual, it's fun, it's things people can actually use and will want to use. We can go through and make a color palette generator. This is one I did. One of my students went through. He's got a channel there where he talks about videos and breaks down all these methods. And I think to this day on that channel, the one he did for our color palette generator is still his most popular video. Pretty sure. I haven't checked it recently, but last time I did, that was one of the more popular ones. And it was not that difficult to make. Like, it was something where it's like, okay, you're just making these little things that match. Do you want a mellow room? Well, click this, and maybe it makes it blue and purple or something like that. Very important, very good to look at. You can also look at polls with live results, where it could be like, calculating, oh, do you like this or do you not like this? Thinking about that with social media, that's a good way to get a lot of attention. What do you think about this thing, or what do you think about that thing? Interactive quizzes where you can go through and ask questions. A lot of people like quizzes, and a lot of people will respond to them, and then you can use that to say, oh, hey, I noticed, you are really heavy on your debt. Click here to learn about that. Or I noticed that you're looking to move soon. Click this, different things like that. Now, these are more or less like little quick games or tools or things like that you can make. There's also some long-term ones if you don't mind, building something for long-term. If it's me, I want to build something short-term, and then I want to build it long-term. So I would start with something like these flashcards. Okay, this kind of thing where if you're going on a trip and you need to learn Spanish before you go, you can learn these things very, very easy. It even made an audio version where it'll sound it out. I mean, looking at the power of this simple tool, a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, oh, well, there's a lot of stuff like that online. Okay, great, but is it something you can build and actually own? That's key, and that's where this starts to change things, okay? So looking at that and saying, can I start small and build this up bigger later? That's where this is going to start to change. And starting to think about your niche in a different way. What can I offer them? Just a couple weeks ago, I think 4 weeks ago or something like that, we started going through and building a tool for bloggers with AI. And the tool it snowballed. We started small. A lot of people loved it. They used it. Over time, we built it. Now it's its own software as a service business, which is really cool. Again, starting small, looking at what we can do. Can I make a travel map, a home energy savings estimator? Like, oh, hey, if you close this window, you'll save $10 on your air, or something like that. Bundle builders, where you could go through and say, oh, hey, when you order these things together, it will help you in this way, that way, or the other way. Shipping cost calculations, different things like that is very important. Gardening layout planners. Gardening is a huge niche. Understanding, okay, can I make something where maybe there's certain things that should be planted next to each other or not? Okay, that would work. You could go through and say, okay, well, let's go and open a new ChatGPT. Let's see how our other code's doing, and then we'll open another one here. Going here, let's see what so our visual budget, wait till you see this. This is going to blow you away. It's really cool. So starting to look at this, I'm going to go through, before I show you that visual budget planner, let's go through and say, well, maybe I want to make like a garden visualizer. Let's say I want to make a gardening visualizer for people who want to start a garden based on what they should plant where. Let's make it visual and fun. They can click what they want to plant, and it will say, no too close to the lettuce, or something like that, or not enough sun, something like that. And what will happen is this will start to understand it. I'm going to say HTML, so it does it in HTML. We're going to drop down to Canvas so it knows to create it so that we can run it. And then there we go. And we'll go right like this. It'll start creating it. Now, while we're waiting for this to build, let's take a look at our budget planner, because this is actually very solid. I mean, you look at this, and it's doing all of the work here. So if I go through and I say, what's our monthly income? Let's say 10,000. Here we go. At 10,000, and then you got planned spend, so that's the amount you should spend. Leftover, categories 10, and you can say, okay, well, housing, nowadays housing is expensive, so you just do 3,900. Then you could do utilities, groceries. Groceries are like $500,000 for one apple now. That was a joke, calm down. But going through and looking at it, you can see this here, and it'll visualize what is the biggest, which is really cool, right? How many of you guys are understanding, like, wow, this is something that can work? And you can even add your own category. Let's say TV or whatever. Add, okay, boom. It's going to add that TV category there. And now you have something. How many of you guys are looking at this and you're like, wow, this is opening up an entire new world of how I can create things that people would want to use? We were even going through and creating a tool for, what was it? For visualizing like a vision board. You know, there's people that are like, oh, I got to have a vision board with my car and my house that I want, and then I'll dream about it or whatever. I knew people a long time ago who made something like that and made a lot of money with it. Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. What we're doing is we're using these as intro points. Right? Can I use this as an intro point, make something that people that are interested in law of attraction or whatever might like, or people that are interested in budgeting might like, and we can put ads or offers, and we can start to interact and say, oh, hey, I can help you save or plan or whatever it is. Think about this in terms of like if you were a financial planner. Right? This is something that would literally get clients for you if you promoted it right. Same thing, we have a student who's a tax accountant. And I had told him, I said, go make a tool. Told him what kind of tool to make. Told him how to promote it. He went and did it. It generated leads, and he's gotten several sales from it in a really cool way. Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. He went out there, he did the work. But looking at this and understanding, hey, wait a minute. This is the best lead generator ever. Like all these people that are saying, oh, hey, go do a PLR product or write a report or whatever, this is going to outweigh it because it's something they can use. Every time I've ever used a tool, a plugin, a software, or something different for my lead gen, it's game over. It just outdoes everything else like 100 to 1, right? When I have a book, if I say, get this book or download this software, everyone's going to choose software over book. Now we can see it's generating the garden tool here. You can see it does take a little bit longer than before, but it does a better result. So looking at these is absolutely key. We'll wait for that one to build. And as we go through, we'll see some other ideas as well. AI story builders. A lot of people have done things like this where it's like a choose your own adventure or something like that. Wardrobe outfit mixers where you could, okay, here's a picture of a person or whatever, and this is what they look like with these outfits or these shoes or whatever it is. Gift finders. This is big. A lot of people search for, wedding anniversary gift, best gift for this or retirement or whatever it is. And this is something where, again, you can visualize it and tie it in. Think about it this way. Who's going to make more money? A guy who has one blog post about the best gift for a retirement party, or the person who makes the software that is literally a retirement party, what do they call those? The things you get for like a wedding planner. What do they call that? The gift list. The thing you go and you check off there. Something like that would work a lot better because now you're owning the audience. And the key is owning the audience. If you can own an audience in a small niche, you win. If you can own an audience in a big niche, then you win everything. But with this, it's something where you could go through and you could be like, okay, I'm going to be the best gift finder tool ever. That's what I'm going to do. And then how am I going to promote it? Maybe I'll go through and have Amazon affiliate links or links to, rewards or something like that. Or if it's for retirement, maybe you could link them to, how to save up for retirement or financial planning or something like that. Before and after visualizers, this is a big one you could do for beauty, fitness, renovation, coaching. Like, what would you look like if you got muscular or whatever? Mood board creators, this would be good for very niche specific stuff like wedding, branding, interior design. What would colors look like? I mean, if you go to your favorite keyword tool and you type in like colors for or relaxing colors or paint for this, you're going to see all kinds of stuff come up. It's crazy, crazy powerful. And when you look at that, this will create those tools for you. It'll go through and it'll visualize it. When you look at the vision board one, I mean, it works in a simple way where you just get the images. There's the house I want. It'll have music and it'll make a whole movie for them. Very cool. And they can save it. And these tools are so powerful. And there's a window of opportunity to make them where it's like, okay, until people catch on, which a lot of people, they're catching on in some aspects, but these little niches are wide open for this type of stuff. Music, beat visualizers, puzzles, and crossword things, like people play games all the time. Leaderboards, skill processes, all kinds of things like that. Now, some of the ones I was going to look at here, which my colors got off here. How much house can I afford calculator? That's a pretty good one. Right? We can build that, or a BMI, or how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Memory games, there's a lot of affiliate offers related to memory. They work really well, and those are ones where people are playing those games to keep their memory up. And that's something they're going to do going forward with AI as well. Now, when we look at the gardening one, it is still working on it. So it's still going. We'll see how it looks in just a minute. And I'll read off a couple other ideas as well. You have like different games. I'll just read the ones that stand out to me if I was going to make them. I would do Spot the Difference. That's a pretty simple one you can make. And that would get a lot of social media attention. Like if I was like, oh, what's the difference between this picture and this picture? Go here to take the test and see if you're right. That could promote stuff. And a lot of those, some of those companies that make like apps and games and stuff, they pay pretty well for ads. So that can work really well. Typing speed, that could tie into typing courses. Going through and doing like, let's see some others here. Pattern recognition, color matching game, that would be a good memory one. Or even something for like how are you at interior decorating or whatever. Emoji guess game, that could be a fun one. Again, if you're doing fun ones, the monetization is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have to think about things that we can offer that maybe are not like buy this thing or something along those lines where you have to get a sale. Math equation, we have healthy food. That could be a good one, right? Healthy food sorting game where it's like, okay, what's healthy, what's not? What should you eat, what shouldn't you eat? Things like that. Language flashcards, we showed you that one. We have landmarks. Right, like, okay, what is the capital of this or whatever, help people study. Positive affirmations memory game, I love this idea. This is one where, I mean, if you were to use your keyword tool and look at like affirmations, huge market. I'm gonna pull it up here just so you could see what that looks like. And then I'll show you one of these other ones too. And this is really where ChatGPT 5 shines, is going out there and making visual tools, good things that we can use. So if I do affirmations in my keyword tool, I am seeing an average of about 124,000 searches a month just for affirmations. Now, this would be a good one because what I look for when I make a tool is something that has built-in promotion. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is if I make an affirmation tool, the way to promote it would be the affirmations I'm using to actually build it. So it's like a circle. It's like all contained in itself. Like last week we did a big video, which the video was about all the different skills to make money with AI. And then I went through and I was like, oh, this will promote itself because now I have 100 different skills that I can use as posts to promote this video, which now promotes this other thing, and now it keeps going. The affirmations will promote the memory game, and then there you go. So it's like you're learning memory, you're improving your memory, and you're also getting positive affirmations. Very important. If that makes sense to you, let me know. Type promote itself, because that's a method that I've used a lot of times where, you know, a lot of people are trying to promote something with things that have nothing to do with the thing you're promoting. The promotion method should be seamless from the product itself. Like the best way to promote a book, let's say you're an author, best way to promote the book is by giving away the content in the book, right? If I have a book, give away little parts of it or give away tips on it or chunk it up into different spots and then promote it. That's a really good way to go. Going through, let's take a look at some other ones here that stand out to me. Famous quotes, fill in the blank. That would be a good one. Maybe think like people looking to memorize the Bible or whatever, stuff like that, or even positive thinking, things like that. How much water should I drink? I made one of these. That was actually a good one. Again, what we're doing is we're basing these on what people are searching for. Not necessarily because we want to rank in Google. Newsflash, we do. I know a lot of people think that SEO is no longer a thing, but there's still 8 million people a minute looking up stuff on Google. As long as they're looking it up, I'm going to be putting my stuff there because that's where we want to be. So what this does is not only so we could promote it in Google, but also so that we can see, hey, that means there's demand. Like if people are looking up how much water to drink in a day, 14,000 a month are searching for that, you can guarantee there's probably 100 times that many people that have that question in their mind, right? Now I'm thinking, okay, what would this look like visually? Very, very important. Walking calories burned. Maybe you can have like a little, graph where it's like, oh, I walk a mile a day. Okay, well, you just removed a pound of food or whatever it equals to. Something very, very strategic. Now, going through and looking at that garden planner, this is pretty cool because what it does is it says what they need. So let's say this is my garden and I want to have like the shade is over here. Okay, so this part, like maybe this is where my house is, so it's shady. Maybe you go through and you're like, okay, I want to plant some lettuce. Oh, maybe it's too shady or something like that, okay? Let's see how the pepper works. Let's see, I think plant. Okay, so we got to go here, I think. Yeah, there you go. So here, see, it says don't put it in there because it's too shady. Or I could go through and be like, oh, should I put an onion next to a pepper? Yeah, that seems okay. A marigold. Can you put it in the shade? No. So we're starting to see like what these need. and what would help. So this would be something that would be helpful for people, like planning your garden, and then you can get them into all kinds of gardening tools and things like that. And never underestimate it. I remember one year, my wife was going to do gardening, and here in Florida, gardening is not that easy. Everything's sand, so it's weird. But she was like, I'm going to make this garden, and she went to Lowe's and spent all this money on stuff, and we ended up with like one really good tomato. And I was like, hey, you realize that tomato was like $600, right? So yes, people spend a lot of money on this stuff, and having something that would help them visualize their garden would really help, right? Starting to understand, oh, maybe I could go through and have like a tool that would make a above ground planner or something like that, okay? Very cool. Visualizing is key. And this is the key. This is where I see ChatGPT 5 excelling, is in visualizing those things there. Ideal weight calculator. We have daily calorie needs. That's a good one. Maybe we could go through. And again, when you think about like, yeah, exactly, Matt, Arrow Garden. When you think about this stuff and you're like, okay, daily calorie needs. If I was to go and search for a daily calorie calculator, you're going to find boring, run-of-the-mill stuff that's not really that good. Right? Like, I'm looking at one now. It's basic calculator. What's your age? How tall are you? Whatever. Okay, well, I want something different. Like, I want, like, okay, a Big Mac calories is not as good as, like, protein and healthy stuff. So what if we could visualize it that way, where they're like, okay, here's the fat calories, the empty calories, the sugar, whatever. Okay, that's something where with ChatGPT 5, it'll actually help you with that. Like if I go to a new one here and I say, let's make a visual tool where they can enter their height, weight, and maybe drag and drop stuff they ate to total calories, and it tells them with a chart where deficits and good things are and what they should do more. Now, disclaimer, if you're doing anything health-related, finance-related, anything like that, always disclose, hey, this is an AI tool. You need to, get second opinions and stuff. This is just a tool. It's not, the Holy Grail. Make sure you disclaimer them. But going through here and looking at like Canvas and building something like this, watch what this does. Because, that's the prompt. It was nothing big, nothing that I had to think more than 20 seconds about. I just put it in there and we're ready to go. You can do pregnancy due date calculators. I actually made money with one of these back in the day. It was really cool. And the cool thing about that is it can tie into where they're at. Right? So if they go there and they're like, oh, today you're 6 months pregnant, your baby's due in 3 months, it's time to buy a stroller, click here to get the stroller. Obviously, that would be an affiliate link, or click here to, get this, that, or the other. Very important and very trackable stuff. You could do a loan payment calculator, savings goal calculator, and thinking about like visualizing this is what's going to tie people in. Let me ask you guys that are listening, would you rather me write a report about how affiliate marketing works, or would you rather have it visually created? Like, oh, I click here. And when you see that, watch how this works. We could go here, and I could say, let's make an interactive guide showing people how affiliate marketing works, traffic, getting paid, the businesses, CPA marketing, traffic types, ECT, where they can drag and drop, and it says yes or no and helps them. Very visual, have a money bag as the icon. Let's see what it comes up with for that. Again, if I was doing this on my own, it'd take me longer to think of a prompt, but let's see what it does with just something like this. If we can visualize that data like we did here, this is something where it's like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool. And these are the kind of things you can use with any image, any tool, whatever. It works really, really well. A tip calculator, right? That would be a good one where it's like, instead of, when you go out to eat and it's like, do you want to tip 9,000%, 10,000%, or 1,000%? It's like, no, I want to tip 20%. Where's that button? But if you made one of these, it could be like, oh, rate how good the service was, and then it'll tell you the thing, or split the bill calculator, right? You could have it to where it's like, oh, this guy ate the most, he needs to pay more of the bill, or whatever. Very, very cool, very visual. Days till event. Let's see what else we have. Speed, distance, random names, on and on we go. Fuel cost, car loan calculator. These kind of things work really, really well. And when you start to see, oh, hey, visualized data is the future where this stuff's going. This is the key. This is why people, watch the news instead of reading the newspaper. Why? It's visual. It's audible. There's more going on, so they spend more time with it. Used to be, you'd finish your coffee, you finish the newspaper, you're done. Now people watch news for hours and hours. Why? Because it's visual. It is made to keep you there. If I can keep you there rather than like, okay, best time to plant, or let's do where to plant bell pepper. Okay, if I look this up, where to plant bell pepper, people do search for that. Let's try plant bell pepper. Okay, bell pepper plant, full-grown bell pepper plant. There's there we go. Bell pepper plant spacing. 400 people a month are looking for bell pepper plant spacing. When to plant. So you could make a whole thing about that, like, oh, they need to be spaced this far apart. Here, get the grid, right? Thinking about this different is key, because now instead of just, 6 inches apart, now you're thinking, oh, I could make something that people will actually want to use, something that they're going to spend time on, and oh, did you know that planting this next to this works better? So here we have this one, and it looks like it is having trouble with these giant bar graphs. So take that for what it is. Hopefully it doesn't freeze us again. But going through here, we could go through and do like, okay, how much of this do you need, or whatever. And this will do, I had peanut butter, I had a banana, I had an apple, I had chicken, and all kinds of stuff like that. Or like, I had a Big Mac. How many calories is that? I don't know, 4 million, something like that. And then you could see, okay, now it has all this, and it's going to tell us what we need. And it shows you exactly how it works, which is really cool. Now, we could go through and make like a picture of a banana or a hamburger or something like that, make it even more visual. But starting to see, hey, wait a minute, this is something that people would actually want to use, and we can make all kinds of cool stuff using ChatGPT 5. Calculator generators, sleep cycle, that's kind of cool, right? Maybe you can do like a timer or something that would help them with their sleep cycle, or even like, when do you wake up? 3 hours. Oh, that's during this cycle. Here's what you need to get better sleep, or something like that. And mattress affiliate programs pay a lot of money. How many of you guys are seeing the potential of having these visual tools? This is one I made for like the brain parts. We have, let's see what else we have here. I had a flashcard game, the Rubik's one. Water intake, this was an interesting one. So this was the one that showed them how much water to drink every day. And it has a little guide, right? So it's like, okay, how much do you weigh? I don't know. How tall are you? And then you could do like your age, activity high, hot climate here in Florida, caffeine, I have too much caffeine. And then you can calculate, and then what it'll do is it'll actually be like, I drank 1 today, 2, 3, and then as you go through, it'll tell you how much. And based on this, I think I need a lot more water. I don't know how truthful this is. I think it's in kilograms though. So what would I be in kilograms? I don't know. Something less. And then you could see exactly what's going on. Now, again, this has a little disclaimer. I would get a better one. But looking at that, it's something that would be helpful, right? How can you help people visualize things or track things or see data in a different way? And that's really what I see the power of ChatGPT 5 being is, hey, we can make these things and create stuff that people would actually want to use. And then, of course, just uploading it on your website, you're just going to go stop, and then you'll get the code. As long as it's HTML, it should run fine. Obviously, check it, run it through a different tool to get a second opinion on it. But starting to realize, hey, you know what? This really, really works, and there's a lot of different things that we can make that would work. And what can I make for visualization? What can I make for like maybe a walkthrough or something like that? Very important. And understanding, hey, I could really make whatever I want now. As long as it's good and ethical and easy to build, I can build these out. The keyword mapper, this one here, I think I had one that did the paint stuff as well. Let me see where that one was. Types of goods, which was this one? Oh, this was an image I was doing for promoting one of these where it was economic stuff. And the idea was, okay, I could put this kind of stuff so that people would see this on social media, and then it would be like, how smart are your economics? Take the quiz here. That would get people in. And the cool thing about it is, in my opinion, a lot of social media stuff is just brain rot content. So what if we made something good? What if we made something that taught them things? What if we made something that taught them how to use AI? What if we had something that would help them understand a new concept or visualize something in a different way? And that's where you could go through and it's like, okay, what is GDP? And this will help them understand all of these different terms, and then there you go. Or you could even have like brain teaser kind of ones where we'd go through, here's our affiliate marketing one, and then I'll show you the brain teaser idea in just a minute. So here we have affiliate marketing drag and drop planner. So this is actually pretty good. So the scenario would be, whatever this tool is, okay? And then you could be like, oh, let's use SEO and maybe an email and a pop-up or whatever. And then it'll go through and it'll show you where all these things are. And then it'd be like, check your plan, okay? Fix your plan. You need a valid entry point. Okay, where's that? That would be our landing page or direct to offer or whatever. Okay, now we need missing. You need a privacy disclosure. That's actually pretty cool. Like this would be something where, it would go through and help you out. Pretty cool stuff. So in addition to that, we can go through and say, well, what if we did something like we start with just talking. And we're like, okay, let's see. Would the more visually intensive tools still work with cPanel? Everything I've showed you on this call will work on cPanel. As long as you say HTML and you say it's cPanel, you can even tell it your cPanel version, and it'll go through and look at it. But I could go through and I could say, share with me some common difficult finance brain teasers most people get wrong. So I'm going to start in just basic. I'm not going to switch over to Canvas yet. Let's say 25, please. It'll go through and it'll say, oh, most people don't understand this, that, and the other. There was one the other day which, I saw it and I kept getting stumped by it. I'm like, why don't I understand that finance thing? Well, one, newsflash, I'm not the smartest person, right? I try, but, going through, it's like, okay, there are things that still get me to this day. I do pretty good in business, but other things I have trouble with. And that was one I was kind of shocked, like, why do I keep missing it? And then understanding it in a different way is what helped me. Now it's like, once you understand that different way, you can't go back. And so now, earn 10%, then lose 10, what's the annual return? Okay, these are cool. Now, let's make a visual, how smart are you with money quiz, okay? And then we can say at the end, let's have the grades, and low grade goes to a finance course or something like that, okay? So let's do this here, visual how smart are you money quiz, interactive, icons, highly engaging based on these. Now I'm going to drop to Canvas, and I'm going to say, HTML, please. And it'll actually create that little tool for me, which will be pretty cool. And then again, these are things that we're going to use to get people into it. Does the trigger word niche finding method still work? 100%. Yeah, I have some good videos on that. So now we're going through and we're looking at this and we're like, okay, this is cool. Potential, definitely problem would be getting in front of the big audience. You're making them for that big audience. That's the key, is the fact that we're making them for that audience. Like, I know the audience is there, so what would I do to promote this tool? Well, I would go through and I'd make images based on these, right? Wage up 3% with 4% inflation. Are you richer? Real wage? No. Okay, so now I can go to ChatGPT and I can say, make an image for this. Okay, and it'll make a little image for it, and I could start to promote that. Those are the kind of things where we can build it and grow it, which is really cool. Now, going here, let's see if it drops it into Canvas for us, and then we can promote that and build it. Or you could even be like, you bought a house for $400,000 in 2022. It's worth X amount now. Your mortgage was $2,000 a month. What did you actually make? This is stuff that people don't think about, but it is things that would make you stop and think. Like, oh, you think you're rich off of your house, but you're actually not. Things like that. And then going through, looking at this here, and it's making our image. Hopefully it makes a good image. We'll put it up here just in case. And see what it looks like. Okay, so now, let's see here. It's still building. Again, it can be a little on the slow side, but that's okay. Let's see what else we have. And we wait and wait and wait. Any questions while we're waiting for this to build? Let me know. Type them in the box. All right, so let's see if this tool has created. It looks like it's going. It's a big tool. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so here's the inflation one. Inflation illusion, wage up, inflation up. Are you richer? No. Okay, so these are the kind of things you can use on Pinterest or make a short video about. Like, making a bunch would be crazy good. All right. How can I join the class? We have classes over at aiprofitscoop.com. Check it out. We have notes from this video, samples. You can see some of the stuff that I build there, and it's pretty cool. Let's see how this goes. And here it goes. It's still going. It looks like it's doing the questions there. Bye. See you tomorrow. Let's see. So there's all the questions. So it'd be easy to add more to it. That's cool, because we could just see it right there in the code. And the cool thing about this is you will inadvertently learn coding, which is great. Now it's like, oh, okay, now I can learn coding. And I didn't even mean to, right? Pretty cool. Memory games, maybe make them fun, right? What would that look like? Maybe I could do something specific, okay? Or stuff like this, like the glossary, visualized data. This is where the future is going to be, and it looks like it's already pretty much going that way, which is pretty cool. And this is something that I'm going all in on. I like it. I think it's fun. I like the fact that ChatGPT has these options and the ability to build these things. Do I provide a mentorship? Yeah, just check out AI Profit Scoop. Just go there, start with that. And then if you find you need more mentoring later, all the options are in there. But at least start there. That way you can get the notes and things like that. And we have calls every week where you can join a live training every week where we look at people's sites, niches, help you guys out with stuff, all kinds of things like that. So now we have this here. It's still going. But building these, I mean, I wasn't able to do this 2-3 years ago. This is something where I could build it at almost as fast as I could think of it, which is cool. And then the idea is we have to have that strategy behind it, right? Like Matt said something about an arrow garden. Can I change this? Okay, now make it for an aereo garden or something like that. And it'll go through and it'll change it and it'll understand what that is. And that's the cool thing is like, this understands stuff at a level it's insane. And then it'll visualize what it understands, which is even bigger. Matt says the calls are great because you could submit whatever you need and get answers. Exactly, and it is me doing those. Sometimes I'll have my assistant on there as well, and she helps with coding because she's better than me at coding now. But understanding that, so now we have how smart are you with money? Tricky finance brain teasers, tap and answer, get instant feedback. So let's start it out. All right, a price falls 50%, then rises 50. Are you back to even? I'm going to say yes. Is it yes? No, the answer is no. Okay, interesting. All right, so some of these are kind of cool. You earn 10%, then minus 10%. What's your annual return? 0? Yeah, okay, I'm not that good with finance. I didn't go back to finance class there. Good thing I'm teaching affiliate marketing, right? What gain do you recover a 50% loss? So how many of you guys, you'd want to take this? You'd be like, I want to see if I'm good with this stuff. There you go. Now we can go through and we can have affiliate offers down here or build a mailing list or stuff like that, which is really, really cool, right? Are you guys seeing like, okay, check this out. Now we go through, let's just randomly do some of these and see what happens at the end. And now you're going through, it's like, hey, check it out. Boom. There you go. I want to see what happens at the end. We got a lot of questions there, which is cool because now these questions, you could literally be like, now make the quote from the question that I can post or something like that. And it's got little gold medallions and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And we could even have it randomize them. All right, so there we go. And after, see results. Nice. So there we go. Savvy starter, play again. So now it's going through and it's taking a look at these. And I could go through and make it like most people get this wrong. Click to see what your answer is. And what I would do is you could make, let's do this. What I would want to do, this is advanced stuff. You guys want some advanced stuff? This is kind of cool. What I would do is I would say, let's make this a code where I can have them enter on a certain question. That's what I want to do. Because like, if my social media post said, what gain do you need to recover a 50% loss? I would want to start them at that question. Does that make sense? We can do this with PHP or whatever. And then they finish the other 24 questions. Something like that, where we could get them in on that one. Would that be good for like ad arbitrage? It could be, yeah, because this is cheap traffic or free traffic. Like if you wanted to do this, you could get a lot of no-cost traffic. It's going to take a lot of work, but hey, that's what we're doing. We do this for a living. This is a business. Results are not typical. Results are not guaranteed. Most people make nothing. We got to be out there and think about it strategically. Like if I want to build a business, and that's what this channel is for. If you really want to do this, I'll show you what I do and how we do this on a day-to-day basis in many niches and many different things. But what you would do is you would get a bunch of traffic for no cost or low cost. And now that they're on this page, they're interested in finance. Now the ad rate goes up, right? Because like if I try to sell ads on a page about, funny jokes, it's not going to make as much as an ad on a money page or a page about mortgages or something like that. We have to go and build these around things that not only have traffic but also have money. That's where the planning phase comes in. And going through here, let's see if it actually fixed this. Now, one of the things I did notice is you do need to hit stop to go back in and see when it's working. But it should do the trick. And then maybe, make something specific that they can look at. This would be really cool for panoramic images. That would be really cool. And I mean, look at the detail on this stuff. It's really amazing. It does have that split there, which is fine. But I mean, this is something that's like crazy cool. It zooms in and out. I mean, just amazing stuff. Something we have not seen AI do thus far. All right, let's see if it did add that ability. Nice, so it did. So the gate question, change your endpoint, okay? Which question, 0 index, should the email gate? Oh, so it actually locked it. So it's like take a few, then enter your email to see the rest. That's okay. I mean, you could use that. I wanted it to enter on 1, okay? Cool. All right, awesome stuff. Hopefully you guys understand how this is working with ChatGPT 5, how it's understanding the content in a very specific way and visualizing it. If you want notes from this video, check out AIProfitScoop.com. I'll have some tips, some notes, the list of all the different use cases. I'm going to build up a bigger list for you guys, and we'll check it out. So, AIProfitScoop.com if you want to stay on top of AI stuff and see where I'm using it in my business, how you can use it in yours, updates, and things like that. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this, and have fun building these. Obviously, it takes work. Obviously, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but there are things we can make, and this is something where we can build things a couple years ago we couldn't do. Now AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So, thanks for being here. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And get the notes at AI Profit Scoop.